Hello everyone and welcome to the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. My name is Aldrine Guerrero. Joining me are Mr. Aaron, the voice, Nakamura. Say what's up, Aaron.
What's up?
Mr. Kahai, the legend, Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
Gentlemen, it's 1 p.m., 1:03 p.m. You know, I gotta be a little honest. We are running a little bit. But you know, I was kind of a diva. I'm like, Kahai, I need my water. And the water needs to be at a brisk 60 degrees. And here comes Kahai with it being 58 degrees. I'm like, I'm gonna freeze, right? You want this voice to start freezing up, Kahai? Is that what you want? Are you trying to sabotage me?
Sorry. It took a little bit longer to get the exact cucumber slices with 3 seeds each. So it was in the fridge a little bit longer.
We're gonna have to have a talk after. You know, like, you can't be doing this 2 minutes right before we start, Kahai. You know what I mean? We have to have a talk.
Yes,
That's right. Oh my God, keeping the kayfabe. I love it. Welcome everyone. This is our show where we basically talk story. We answer any and all of your ukulele related questions and some non-ukulele questions mixed in there as well, but preferably ukulele questions. We are live, so there's a live chat where you can ask us questions in there. If you feel like emailing us, you can do that. There's even a voicemail that you guys can call and leave a voicemail question so that you can be part of the show. We're still waiting for somebody to do that, right, Kahai? It's costing Kahai like $10 a month, I think, like to keep that out, right, Kahai? Just say yes, so they feel bad and they'll leave a message. But yes, welcome everyone to the Ukulele on the Ground podcast. Let's talk ukuleles. So let's get started, Kahai. What are we doing today?
Well, actually, Aaron came up with a question for today to start us off.
Well, yeah. So for the listeners who are not familiar with the term, could you explain what is woodshedding?
I don't even know what woodshedding is.
The woodshed.
What is woodshed?
Like you've never heard of that term?
I've never heard of the term.
Really?
Woodshed. I'm not like a wood guy. I became a wood guy.
No.
Just as ukulele related. But I've never heard woodshed.
Like to go into the woodshed and then to you gotta hammer out.
Practice is really hard, you've heard
shed. Right?
Yeah,
right. Okay. Yes, I mean I've always referred to it as like the drawing board or like the cryogenic chamber. Is the anime nerd
the nerdy version. yeah.
Okay, we're talking about the cryogenic chamber. That's what it is. It's for those of you folks who don't know.
A cryogenic chamber is.
It's just an ice machine, man. It's like a gigantic ice machine where you go and you train there. But and it's not even cryogenic like what is that was the thing, Kahai, where like Goku was in and he's like healing and getting better and
I forget what it is.
or even the training room with the 100 times gravity. What is that called?
Because there's the training room where time is like slow for them. Right?
That's like up in the heaven or something. But there's one where like it's a room where there's like however many times Earth's gravity.
I think it was like he was on a planet and then it's more gravity on the planet or something.
Yeah, no, but Bulma, see, it's already turned off into topic. Okay, like Bulma created a spaceship for him to go to Namek, right? Mm-hmm. And in the spaceship, he had that thing where like he can tack on however much Earth's gravity. What is that room that he goes to that he turns that on? Because that's basically what I'm about to talk about.
I don't remember it. Was it? And I don't remember.
Okay, so. For those people, since you know woodshed more than I do, I've heard it before, but yes, that's not the term that I use. So hyperbolic chamber, that's what it is. Now, explain woodshed, Aaron.
Yeah, basically just like the woodshed is like the metaphorical term for like where you would go to practice, like in your room or whatever.
Yeah.
And basically like you just spend hours in the woodshed just working on your craft and getting better and leveling up your playing and repeating a bunch of things in order to get it into your muscle memory so that you don't have to like think about it. and when you're on stage, you can just like whip it out,
Yeah.
and it'll come out
So,
perfectly.
It's basically like a more complicated version of the drawing board. When you go to the drawing board, you're just trying to figure stuff out. Yes, you're trying to figure stuff out, but the woodshed is an actual place that you go to, a room or like a setting where you would go and you would train. And it could be ukulele, it could be any craft, it could be like a studio that you paint at if you're a painter, or a gym if you're like a boxer or something, or a UFC like MMA artist. Like these are all woodsheds, but in this case, musical wise, like guitar, ukulele, woodshed is used so that you go in the woodshed, you work it out, you practice, and so that by the time you come out of the woodshed, you're that much better.
Yeah.
And
I think it's more like guitarists use it. Yeah.
So, but me, now going back,
So what does that mean for you?
What does that mean for me?
Yeah.
Like, so it's been tough, like to be able to do something like that lately. Like, I'm just gonna start things off with that. But for me, back in the day, what that is just isolation. Like isolation to really be alone with my thoughts, so that I can figure out what I need to figure out. When I was younger, it was of course my room at my in my parents' house. I would lock myself up, and it would just be me, my ukulele, a TV, and a PlayStation 1, which plays CDs, like audio CDs. If you put and it would play the CD on your TV. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of cool because I had a visual of like which track it is and stuff.
Yeah, and what the time code.
Yeah, what the time codes are exactly. So it was great for me because I had that visual, and I used that to learn everything. So my woodshed routine back in the day was I would go in. I would go in with like, and there's no like back in the day. There's no at least for guys like me, tuners that you could just get easily, because I was a kid in high school, so it's not like I had money or they were as easily accessible as it is today with like clip-on tuners. There's like a million tuners now, but back then it's like the tuners were pretty expensive, or you would use like forks or a little whistle thing or whatever.
Yeah.
None of that stuff, okay? Which is part of the woodshed training. So I would go in, and I would have several albums ready to start playing through. Because these were albums that inspired me as an ukulele player to start playing ukulele. These are the albums with the riffs that I wanted to play. These are the albums with the with the chord progressions, with the songs, with the with the feel that I wanted to be. Okay, like I wanted to basically just carve out of stone like what my dream ukulele playing was like, and these were my examples if I was like trying to create a perfect statue. So and that was the first 3 Kyle Creative Boys albums, which was Tropical Hawaiian Day, Valley Style, and On Fire. And there's a reason why I'm naming these, because I'll go into it a little bit later. Then there was Pure Heart 1, Pure Heart 2. These 5 albums, always had it in my room. Not that I didn't have any other albums. I had this. I think it's like it was like a CD that had like a best of with of like a lot of local music. So it was like Drop Baby Drop, like stuff from Ho'onua, stuff from like all these other things. I had that. And I would, I had that just on the ready. And any like new album, if there was like a new album that came out that I kind of wanted to figure out, I'd bring that to the woodshed. Now, the reason why I got specific with which albums, because that would determine how I would make my ukulele tune my ukulele or set it up. So if I were to play with, thank you.
We're gonna switch out.
Oh, okay. Is this just not loud
it's
enough?
Picking up the
Oh, okay. So, if I were to play with the first album, for example, Tropical Hawaiian Day, that whole thing is in 440. Okay, which means it's in regular, tuning G, C, E, A. The next album, Valley Styles, in half step, and On Fire was the tricky one, which was the first half of the album was in half step, and the second half was in 440. And this mattered because
So half step meaning?
Half step meaning instead of being tuned G, C, E, A, it would be F sharp, B, D sharp, G sharp. And like, I didn't know that was, I mean, like, I guess I knew the notes because I knew a little bit of music theory, but I didn't know why. I just knew did that, it because like that's how it was, you know, because I could tell the techniques, and I knew based on like the song sheets, chord sheets that I saw, it was these chords or whatever. So,
but example, it didn't sound right.
Yes,
so
it
you had
didn't sound
tune
right.
your ukulele so that it sounded
to that album.
Yeah.
So my one rule was, no matter what happens, you are not skipping the song. So you can kind of see where I'm coming from as far as Aloha Friday Live Jam goes. It's like, if I put on the Ao Creator Boys album, Tropical Hawaiian Day, that's gonna go from track 1 till the last track. No skips, no nothing. It's just forcing myself to either learn that song or be better at whatever's coming up next, you know? And that gets me to memorize songs. So now, like, when I play live, I don't have like any devices to kind of show me lyrics and whatever. It's just, that's the set, you know what I mean? Like, today's set is gonna be like Tropical Hawaiian Day and Valley Style, so I know all those songs like one after the other, and I could, you know, like as long, and I could sometimes predict when the song was gonna start, you know, and so bringing you to my brain. If Tropical Hawaiian Day was the first one, I would play, you know, Tropical Hawaiian Day, the song was the first track off of that album. First chord, F. We play Tropical Hawaiian Day at Aloha Friday Live Jam. So I would listen to that first go around, and I would try to tune my A string.
Oh.
I would just play that.
Yeah.
And if it was in tune, it was good. If it was off tune, I'd adjust it, and based on that, I would tune the rest.
The
and then
strings, yeah.
After, if I don't get it after 2, you know, or 4 measures, when when the turnaround comes back, then it goes. So I'm gonna try to hit that note and this note at the end, and then try to tune my ukulele to that. And at that point, it should be all good. Like, before the first picking goes, my ukulele should already be in tune. Before the so not it's just kind of like a nice opening to a practice, because it's on and this train's gonna go. You know what I mean? Like, it's I don't press skip, nothing like that. And I don't have a tuner, so it's like working on my ear already to hear the note and make sure that my ukulele matches whatever that's doing, because I can't practice if it's not in tune, you know. And then trying to grab the groove, trying to grab like every single solo that I could play, and it makes me memorize like what solo is coming next, because Troy Fernandez would just do like little fills, and most of them I don't know, you know, it might be improvisation, you know, like, and he definitely has a certain style, so it's easy to kind of figure out where he's gonna go. But you know, after being at the woodshed so much, it's just all memorized at that point. And I would stay in the woodshed for hours until it was time for dinner. So I'd come home, go to the woodshed, stay there till about 6 o'clock, and then I'm done. Same thing when I moved over on the island of Oahu when I was there for college. Even more so, like I had my own place, and periodically my musician friends would move in and out, you know, like there's like, say, Daniel Cummings moved in, Seth McCumber has moved in, Calais Marston has moved in, Joseph Holt moved. There's all these people, most of them musicians, you know, like have moved in. We've created music together, so that was everybody's had a woodshed corner in that house. It was a tiny 1-bedroom, and at one point, like maybe 10 people lived there, you know, and most musicians, you know, and we had our own little corner. For me, it was the balcony. I would go out on the balcony, and I would just start to play my ukulele. And at that point, I wasn't using CDs or anything. It was me sitting there, there's no iPads or nothing. I didn't have. I had just had a laptop, so I didn't bring my laptop outside because I was scared because it was outside. So either I would jam songs out there and just remember the lyrics, remember whatever, or if I'm trying to work something out, I'd go out there. There's no crutch. Or I would write songs just out there, and that was like where I wrote most of the songs from the albums that I've made is at that apartment. That's why I named my first album Suite 409, because the Woodshed was in Kuhio Avenue, apartment 409. I forgot what the address is already, but maybe that's a good thing. At Kuhio Gardens, Suite 4 or Room 409, but we just called it Suite because just have a nice little musical reference, So I would write songs out there, and it didn't matter because it was Waikiki. It was Kuhio Avenue in Waikiki, so it's noisy at 3-4 in the morning. So it was perfect. I could go out on the balcony and I could just play music. 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was at that age where I just didn't really sleep anyway, So my woodshed could happen at any moment, and I would be out there for hours. So it's not like I had a set time that I would just go and grind stuff out, but I would be there. Or I'd bring if there's a new album coming up, I'd go out there and I'd have my little iPod, that phone, like my iPod. I'd have headphones on and try to work out, say Jake just released a new album or whatever, like there's a song there. I remember one time Walking Down Rain Hill came out, and I love that song. If you guys haven't heard Heartbeat before, Heartbeat is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Jake Shimabukuro song. It is just so good. It's so well written, and there's such a great breakdown in the middle that made me go like, what is happening? It sounds like the title is so perfect for what what the breakdown is, because it sounds like someone's gonna have a heart attack. It's like in the beginning there's this kind of steady heartbeat of, and then it's got like this delay that's kind of happening in there. Sounds really awesome, and then like towards the middle it's like. It was so crazy. I'm like, I gotta learn that, And I guess I'll burst everybody else's bubble because my bubble was burst. When I talked to Jake, I'm like, you gotta show me how to play it. Or at least I learned it, but show me how you do it, know? And he's like, oh, I just do it like this. I was like, why? No, that's not what it sounds like. He's like, yeah, I put like a slapback delay on it. I'm like, what? Dude, cheater? So I was, like no matter how much older I got, or at that moment, I was still like trying to do things manually, like how I did, with when I was in high school. So that was a woodshed moment for me to just like, what is that thing? And I was lucky enough to be friends with him. So next time he came back in town, I'm like, you gotta show that to me because I love that song. And he's like, yeah, it's a slapback delay. So whenever you go
pedal,
it sounds like
yeah.
That's kind of what it sounded like. You cheater! He's like, why? I'm like, I learned to do it without it because I didn't think you were gonna be that way.
I thought that you were doing it, yeah.
So it's stuff like that when something like kind of piques my interest. Like I go to the woodshed and I try to work it out, or if there's if there's a song that I want to write, or if there's an idea that I want to do, because Bandito Tyler was the same thing. I remember. We were playing tennis one night over at UH with my college friends and stuff, and my friend Bradford like comes down, and it was like me, Bradford, Tolji, Tyler, Bandito Tyler, and I went, and Bradford had on this white, like just kind of Hanes white shirt with the original Bandito Tyler, Bandito Tyler shirt, because he just made that stencil. I was like, what the hell is that? What the heck is that thing? He's like, oh, it's Tyler. It's for my project, my school project. I was like, that is amazing. And then he's like, yeah, you like it? I was like, yes. Now all he needs is a theme song. So like that night, I wrote Bandito Tyler, like inspired by that. Went to the balcony right away, took me a few hours, but came out with one of my favorite songs I've ever written. It was just that. It was like an inspiration. They're like, okay, I can't wait to go home to the woodshed and work this out. And what came out was like, and it's chronicled because that's the same, like you can, when you watch the video, I don't know if I still have it up or if I deleted it, but there's a video on my Ukuleeleoversoul channel where I first played Bandito Tyler, and like I didn't have my face on it or anything because it was just
for you for
me to put the idea, because like I told my friends, I'm like, I did it. I wrote Bandito Tyler's theme. They're like, oh, can we hear it? I'm like, let me just like make a video really quick. So I made a video. So in that video it was nighttime. That's why it was nighttime at that, in that first, that's like my first ever YouTube video that I ever put up ever. It's Bandito Tyler, and that was right after I wrote it, and it was at the woodshed, and I recorded it by the front door of 409, and that's for me like it's so important to have these these woodshed moments or for to just isolate yourself or to go and to get ideas if you can afford it. I know for me time is super expensive now and I don't really get to do that as often, but it's always great to kind of I like being isolated so I can be alone and it sounds crazy but almost to talk to myself, because I need to I know, and it's gonna sound weird going forward. I know that like I have it inside of me. Like I know that I have the idea inside. Like in my brain, it's somewhere in there. I just need to go and pull it out.
So, you have to give it some room, some space.
So
some
when
time.
I'm isolated, it's almost like I almost picture myself in a room with myself. And it's like there's sometimes I think I've talked about it, practice in front of a mirror and stuff. There's more to it than just seeing your form, although a lot of it is seeing your form, but at the same time it's seeing you, and you can like converse, good, bad, mad, happy, like you can converse yourself. It's I've had many times I'm like, why can't you figure it out? I'm like just getting mad at myself.
What are you actually trying to say?
Like why can't I figure it out? Like why don't you just tell me what it is? Like show me the thing. And one practice that I've learned from Steve Vai, he did the thing called Alien Love Secrets. And this is for those of you folks who wants to go extreme mode, like in the woodshed. And this is how I came up with techniques that I have now, because a lot of the techniques that I have now, since there wasn't in the internet or anything like for me to model myself after visually, there is some stuff that I figured out for myself. Now, this is from Steve Vai's Alien Love Secrets. He said that here's put yourself in a room with a guitar, I guess he said guitar, with no distractions. At first, give yourself 1 minute. Okay? So put a timer on for 1 minute and pick one technique. Whether it be hammer-ons, pulls, bends, whatever it may be. He said, for 1 minute, play every hammer-on. Like that one technique, play every hammer-on that but you cannot play it the same way twice. So it's like if you've already done it that way, then you're like, okay, well how am I gonna how else can I hammer on? And that's where like all these ways, all these thinking. So you've done it with your pointer finger, and now you do it with your middle finger, do a ring finger, pinky finger, or do it with the pointer finger there. Or whatever. Like try to figure something out with a pinky, with a middle, maybe middle to ring, maybe middle to pinky, or whatever. Like or thumb with a pointer. You just gotta rack your brain to figure out new ways to do that one technique. And it's very, very, very difficult because 1 minute is a long time, and there's only a finite amount that you can play each technique. So he said that in this case, if you're really into it, you're gonna dive deep down inside you to figure out how to do it, and you're really gonna like push yourself to the limit until you figure out one new way to hammer on your instruments or to do that technique in a brand new way. So like I've come up in the fruits from that, from that practice include stuff like I've always liked reggae music, and I've always wanted to play reggae, but I never played in any reggae bands. I don't know why no one asked me.
Well, one time.
yeah, I guess one time, but that's more of a local R&B kind of, like pop R&B band. But I always really liked reggae, and for me, there's like just a certain like hi-hat beat in reggae that I really like. So I came up with and it's probably not original, but to me it's like something that I figured out for myself, which is like this. It's just like triplet, muted hit with just the one string.
Can you show it in like an example?
Yeah. I just want to show what the thing is, and I'll show. So you're like, okay, well, what makes that so special? Because if I do reggae, which is, and for people who know reggae, you can kind of hear it already. Which then led to my 2-finger roll, like all this. Or this two finger roll. So because I had this original 2-finger roll, I'm like, why don't I do that with the with the one string? It's kind of like squeeze out that one technique out of like your soul, basically. And that's where it's coming from, and I don't know. I'm not one for what's the word I'm looking for here? For like when something represents like something else or a symbolism and stuff. But like my name Ukuleeleoversoul. It's although super nerdy, but it is if people don't know, I'm Ukuleeleoversoul off of YouTube, and that's been my YouTube account since the beginning. So that's my first YouTube account. I have many others. Now, what that is a reference to like Shaman King, where like these shamans, it's an anime, like these shamans will take like the soul that they're assigned to, their like companion soul. They put it in this like soul ball thing, and they put that soul into an inanimate object, and then like now that inanimate object is filled with that whatever that soul. So ukulele, so it's called an oversoul. So you're taking that soul, you're putting it over this inanimate object. So Ukuleeleoversoul, it's like I'm putting that into this inanimate object, and it's basically my own. So through this I play. It's not like I pick ukulele over my soul, like which a lot of people have like emailed me about, but it's really the oversoul, and the ukulele is the is the what's the word here? Anyway, this is the object, the inanimate object that the vessel I was looking for. There's the vessel that I play music through. Now, it's kind of like that, where like there's something inside of me, like there's a note, there's a series of notes, or there's a sound that I hear in my head that I know can be produced by this. So like I try to just squeeze out whatever I can to produce that sound, and that's what I used to do in the woodshed. Really, just like push myself to the limit to figure that out, and it actually makes really well for for what I do now as a teacher, because I've played like hammer-ons, pull-offs, like these techniques billion times over and over due to these these extreme practices that I would do. So to break it down, super easy. Like I can break down the techniques, and you guys, any person who's seen my lessons, there's like certain ways that I break things down, and it's because I've almost like was outside my body, like looking in, because it's a mirror or whatever. It's because I have these conversations with myself, during woodshed that like that I now relay on to you guys or to others into how to do them. Yeah, because I've explained that like.
Yeah. It's like a background rhythm that you're reproducing using your ukulele.
There's like, there's a bunch that I've kind of figured out, and it just works for what I do. You know? And so it's important to kind of get to know your instrument or woodshed moments, or get to know your craft, get to know your art, because to me, that's especially in college, that's when it like stopped really becoming a hobby. It was stopped being a hobby, and it became like a way for me to make art, basically. You know what I mean? And it's not just, and that's why my music is so weird. It's not like I'm not trying to make R&B or Hawaiian or reggae or whatever. Like my type of music is just what I feel. It's so my music has always been kind of like a hit or miss for people. It's because I really don't care, and I think the way that I produced music is the best way to go about it, because it's not like I had like a record label or a producer that said like make it like this. It's just kind of like, well, I went to Ariki, who is my recording engineer. He's like, well, what do you want to record today? And like, oh, I have this idea, let's go for it. And like these are the talented people that I know that can make this a reality, but yeah, it's just staying true to to myself and the art that I wanted to make. And because no one's gonna green light okay, I got it, I have a story about a Robin Hood type bandit character, and the whole album is gonna revolve around Tyler. and Bandito. Is it a Bandito? Yeah, but it's more funny, right? It's Bandito. It's like me as a gringo, or wanting to speak in Spanish. A Bandito. So it was a joke, and it was a whole movie that I had in my head. And even that, like my woodshed was my house at 1-2 in the morning when my wife was asleep, because like I didn't want anybody listening to what I had cooking. I was just cooking because I don't know, I'm paranoid that like people won't like stuff. Or I also share the same superstition as my friend Daniel, that like if somebody hears something that I'm working on, I'm not gonna finish it. It's not gonna be done. Like if somebody hears an unfinished song, that song's never gonna get finished. Only the ones that because and my wife, like she
does it have
like,
to be like a certain amount of finished? Or...
at least like fleshed out. And like I mean the details is fine, but at least the idea. So if say I just had like a verse and chorus, and it's not quite fleshed out yet, and I show somebody, that song's not getting done.
Like not gonna complete.
Yeah, it's not gonna complete it. It's
bridge.
Like even if I try, like say years down, like I try to pick it up again, it's not gonna happen. It's a superstition, but like I suffer from from believing in it. But yeah, like it's that's what the woodshed has kind of granted me, like just going into that hyperbolic chamber and really like working on the art of what sounds this thing can make, what emotions this thing can paint in people's minds, and what kind of story like I can tell. So and it helps, and it's like hours, days, months. Like if you count up all the hours that I spent in the woodshed, it'd be months just like alone with my thoughts, basically. It might not be the most sane thing for people to do, but like
I think that's where art comes from.
I guess so. Like no, I think it was Ryan that told me that quote, that like no sane or no normal person changed anything. Yeah. I remember Ryan telling me that, and I'm like, I guess you gotta be a little crazy, Like no normal person or sane person ever changed anything.
I feel like crazy people also tell themselves that though, to justify that's why I'm crazy, right?
But I don't know. I admit I'm kind of eccentric. Like if you don't want to know what's going on.
I like how you, like with Steve Vai, and how you gave that example of like how to do that woodshedding too. Because I think like when people have come to us and they said like, oh, should I do woodshedding, or like do you recommend it? I think we've always had a hard time like saying like, just lock yourself in and just like focus on one technique and just like grind out until you can get that one technique down. But like the way that you explained it, it's not really that, right? Like actually takes like where you can do that. You can spend time on something, but it's not just doing it mindlessly, right? Like you're actually like thinking about it and you're reflecting on it yourself and saying like, if I can't do this, like what's stopping me from doing this, and what can I do to change myself to be able to achieve this new technique or whatever I'm trying to do. So it's like when people say like, oh, I spent like 10 hours doing one scale, it's like, I don't know if that's really worth it, you know, like that's not
at some point, is that really?
It's
I mean,
like,
it's good, but like,
it's probably not bad, but is it gonna be pushing your musicianship to the next level or anything? Like, so it's like when you said spend 1 minute and then try and do a technique like as many different ways you can. Like you can see where that would really like level you up or get you to a new place.
Yeah, and there's lots of ways, like, you know, like I just showed you folks in different fingers, maybe like two strings, 3 strings, like there's like all maybe like full chord hammer-ons. But once you run out of ideas, that's like that's the best part. That's where you want to be at.
That's where it starts.
Yeah, that's when you start to really look inside you, and you're like, okay, I can do this. I can figure it out. And that's why, you know, I look at myself in the mirror like, come on, you got it.
Yeah.
I can do this.
I feel like for me, it's like, because recently I was just working on our song that we're doing for our songwriting. And there's a point where I hit where like I can't get the idea out. And I kind of just like, I don't know, I give up, right? And I feel like it's not really, it kind of like similar to what you're saying, but a little different perspective. It's like, I don't go like, me versus me, or I'm like having a conversation with myself. I just go like, I give up, song, you be whatever you want to be. And when I say that, that's when I feel like, holy crap, like something actually just like falls out, right?
Or you're actually listening to what the song wants to be.
So I think
like, oh, you're listening now. Okay, here I'll tell you.
So it probably is like the same thing as you said, right? Where it's like you're having a conversation with yourself, but instead of me thinking of it as like myself, it's just like, it's just whatever the song wants to be. And I'm just gonna let it dictate to me what I should do.
And that I just realized that like that's why I actually don't collaborate with people that well, like songwriting wise, you know, like Aaron and I have been playing for over a decade, and it's never like, okay, Aaron, here's like an idea that I have. It's always I always come to you with complete songs already?
Pretty much,
I never come to you with like something that, you know, like that is half finished or just like an idea or whatever. And
unless it's something like real specific, like I need you to fill in like a rap part or whatever. I was gonna write it anyways, but I left the space for it.
Of course,
like that kind of thing.
But you know what I mean? Like it's never, you know, I think it's that, even just like, even the way we do like covers now, you know what I mean? Like I'm always like, oh, I'm kind of working on this right now, but I won't show you until I'm like, I'm confident about it. I kind of figured it out, you know?
I know what I'm gonna do.
Right. And so just as a little insight to how Aaron and I run things, like I have the parts down, and I'll present it to Aaron. And in that case, like Aaron takes it and he puts it in his own way. Because I mean, the way that Aaron plays guitar is different from the way that I play guitar. So he's gonna play it. And it's kind of cool too, because I play it like how a guitar player that plays by himself would play it, and just an ukulele over that. But Aaron plays specifically with this ukulele
for you.
Together. You know what I mean? So it's always great to have his input, but that's all the details afterwards. But I never come to Aaron with like a half, you know, like, okay, well, I got this chorus, like, what do you think? What could we do with this? But you know, like at the same time, I feel, you know, I feel like I should do that, because that's how like guys like Lennon and McCartney, right? You know, like they'll present each other with like, you know, with these songs, or even George Harrison, like, hey guys, you know, I got this something in the way, and then like the other two guys will be like, oh, how about this or whatever, how about these lyrics, and they'll come up with a banger, you know. But I don't know,
so maybe it's just putting yourself in that situation where there's no other alternative, where it's like hey, we're gonna do a writing session now, and if nothing comes out of it, then whatever. But like
so I gotta learn to cooperate, play well with others. That's what I'll do. So I don't know, and I haven't really put, you know, I write for like the songwriting challenges and stuff, but I feel like I haven't really sat down and really like done that. Like go to the woodshed and squeeze out something from my brain, you know? Like that's like,
or
that's
I mean, like, what was the last song that you really tried to figure out? Do you remember?
What do you mean, like?
Because
I heard a song.
Yeah,
and
so
like,
like,
or
so
did I
it
write
seems like
something?
earlier in your career, like you
Yeah.
did a lot of like figuring out
Yeah,
songs in the
yeah.
woodshed, and then later in your career, you were
It's crazy.
figuring out like what is inside of you that needs to come
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
But like, when was the last time that you like sat down and tried to learn a song that already exists?
Oh, easy, actually, yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
I was listening to very important, because I remember I said I had the first 3 albums of Kyle Creator Boys.
Uh-huh.
There is a 4th album that I never owned,
Yeah.
but I've heard it, you know, like
Yeah.
but there weren't any songs in there that everyone was playing. Everyone was playing those songs from the first 3.
Uh-huh.
You know, there were great songs like Under the Boardwalk High was in the 4th Kyle Creator Boys album. And recently, I've really taken a liking to the Kyle Creator Boys version of She Thinks I Still Care.
Yeah.
And just yesterday, I was trying to like figure out the Troy Fernandez
picking
picking
part.
of that, because we tried to play it on Friday on the side,
Yeah.
and then the picking came, and I went totally in a different like on the wrong inversion already,
Yeah.
because I'm thinking it starts here, but it starts like super. Yeah, it starts down here, not even here. And that G, you know, but I started here because that's just, I don't know where my
Is
where
what
my
you
brain
would do.
went. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I actually, it's recent, and then the Palolo second album was also something that I didn't have as a kid, and in that there is an Elvis medley that I kind of wanna do, and I was playing along with their medley of like, I think it's Hound Dog and some other like Elvis that they had, like Teddy Bear and Hound Dog.
Uh-huh.
So, and it's great. I don't know if you guys see me and Aaron playing Teddy Bear and Hound Dog, you'll know why. It's because I've been obsessing with this second album and trying to figure out how I can put it into our show. But I don't know. I'm like reconnecting with how I used to do, because if I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, it's like I'm coming to a point where like I'm getting burnt out, you know, with just maybe creating, because I haven't created in so long that I'm burnt out, and I want to like rediscover the fun of the ukulele and how did I have fun to begin with, you know? And it's like trying to listen to people that inspired me. So I went back to like my first inspiration, which is like Kyle Creator Boys. Went to an unfamiliar album, and then started working out some songs from there, and it made me very it brought the love back, honestly. Like right, all of last week, all I could talk about was like, guys, the 4th Kyle Creator Boys album. I didn't even know I had this song, and I had that song, and I had this song, and yeah, I was like, honestly really, really, really happy that like I went back and to kind of re-inspire myself with these older albums that I missed out on as a kid.
Nice.
I did the same thing that you did, like where I just play a whole album and I tried to play along with the whole thing, right? And just like no skips, and you just go through the whole thing. But I think the other thing that made me a better musician was playing with the radio. And I think now it's kind of weird to say it, but I think learners now, they might have it easy where it's like there's not really, I guess there is radio still, but like if you're playing along to a song and then you like it and you want to keep playing along to it, right? You go like, oh, I'm gonna pull out Shazam so I can like figure out what the song is, or I'm gonna wait till they say whatever it is on the radio. But I think part of when I was like playing along with the radio, it's just like when the song ends, I'm just like, I'm never gonna hear that song again, so on to the next one. I don't hold like that much stake with it, and I like, you only have the song to figure out like what key it's in, to try and figure out the chords and everything.
And play something that sort of matches at least.
And it's fun. Like that time that we went like on that car ride and for the ukulele challenge, and I did that, because that's what we would do back in the day. Like FM 97 or Kong would play, or Island Radio. It would just have random songs, and that I guess one of my woodsheds was don't do this, children, but at work. I was a towel boy at a pool hut, at what used to be the Embassy Vacation Suites here on Kauai. We were allowed to, to have an ukulele in the in the pool hut because they thought it, like it brought like a certain vibe, right? And then there was the radio, and I would just have the ukulele, and the radio would be on, and I would just try to play songs, like to the radio, and try to like, and also it kind of exposed me to like what was new, because I guess sometimes like one every 50 songs they would play a new song, like, hey, I've never heard this before, and try to figure that out. But it's
and I mean, if you can do that, it's kind of like magic to anybody who doesn't know how to do that. Because I remember being in college, and I was like part of the Hawaii club. And we were getting ready for, I think it was just like they had like a ho'ike or some kind of luau at the end of the year. And we were hanging out, and they weren't playing any songs from Hawaii. They were playing like just random like, stuff from the mainland or whatever, mainland music. And so but I had my ukulele with me, and then I was like playing some of those songs. And it's like, how did you just do that?
And
it's like,
a sorcerer?
I don't know. I mean, I'm just like listening for a note that that sounds like it, and then playing a chord that has that note, and if it works, it works. And then like usually you can kind of feel where it's going next, and then the next thing you know, I'm like playing along with the song. But I think that was my first like when people said like I didn't realize that you could play other things with the ukulele. I think that put a spark in me back then when I was in college, so that when we were out of college and then we started doing the like
gigging
or no, just teaching online.
Teaching.
Like I was filming you teaching songs that were not necessarily just Hawaii songs or like reggae songs. And I think because people had that perception that like ukulele was only for Hawaii kind of reggae songs is
you know who I owe for that? I mean, yes, like Jake kind of like, showed whatever, like, oh, the ukulele can do all these things. But I mean, even when I was listening to Pure Heart, I only really listened to Pure Heart and like within Hawaii kind of stuff. But there's two people that told me like, no, don't just listen to something else. Like everybody's playing Hawaii stuff. Why don't you like, play something that isn't? And that's what will make you stand out. One, Mike Fernandez.
Yeah, I figured.
The second one, Mark Baldonado. Mark Baldonado, he's like, I mean, I owe that guy so much as far as like, where my musical journey has gone just from meeting him. You know what I mean? My projection of where I was gonna head like with my career. Like,
because at the time Mark was playing ukulele, right? So what other things was he playing on the ukulele?
Well, it's not that he was playing it on the ukulele, but like he would pick me up to go to practice for Makalea. And him and Mike, and he's like, oh, we should play some of this. I'm like, well, that's not like a local song. Like, well, you can't play that. He's like, yeah, but it kind of goes like you can kind of play it like this. I'm like, that's what?
I didn't realize.
Like I guess you could, right? Like, and then
like what were some examples?
We played like the Roots. Like we listened to the Roots. Like he's the guy who introduced me to the Roots.
Oh, I see.
And he was obsessed with the Phrenology like album and the Seed 2.0. Just don't listen to it, kids. It's about not nice things, adult things, and
unmentionables.
Unmentionables. So he did that, and he also showed me Ben Folds 5 at that time, and he showed me like this like live version of Ben Folds 5, and he could play some of the songs from
on
Ben Folds 5. Like, what? That's so crazy. Like how are you doing this? And I was already kind of doing stuff outside of like local things, but just for myself. Like because I was doing like stuff from band or whatever, or like Filipino songs in my family, but I just did it out of just like
just because you knew the songs.
Yeah, because I knew it, but I didn't think of like performing stuff because I didn't think people like that. You know what I mean? So, but like when I heard it from Mark, I'm like, what? That sounds pretty good actually. And
you parlayed that into an entire career of like making people realize that you can play other things.
And he
with
did
ukulele.
like him and Ryan did Certain Shade of Green. By Incubus, but it's like the live version from I think the MTV Unplugged, and they played that together. I was like, what the heck? Incubus on ukulele, like it's amazing, So yeah, I then kind of switched gears because for their band, they're like, we want to play some stuff that is, that is not there. And so they asked me like, oh, what's something that you want to do? I'm like, Jim Croce. Love me some Jim Croce. So we play like, I'll Have to Say I Love You in a song. And they're like, okay, cool. So like, let's just come up with a riff. So I came with the and it was just like something that simple, but then it goes, I know it's kind of late.
So it sounded local.
But like with a different flair in it. But yeah, Mark's gonna argue that he made that riff, but I actually stole that riff from Hokuaki, so I know it's from me. Because Hoku did that riff to I guess we were doing I miss you girl, I miss you much. So, but the chords were similar with I'll Have to Say I Love You in the song. So I'm like, I know a riff that fits perfectly in there that I've heard from my friend, So I put it in, and then they're like, yeah, let's do that. But I wasn't the ukulele player, so I had to show Mark that riff, so he played it. And I guess like through years, it's like Mark is confused as to like where the riff came from. But yeah, it's that, and it was my first band, Makalea, and just trying things out with that band. So, and then even more so with One Time, with the band with Daniel, our little R&B pop band. Then that's when we started playing stuff we played the Roots song, that C 2.0. We played that on our live set. We played a lot of Craig David stuff because Daniel Cummings is a big fan of Craig David. Yep. We played a lot of just a lot of out of the box kind of things, and I remember experimenting with pedals because I really wanted to. I was a big fan of 311, so I wanted to play Amber, of course, naturally, and it was cool.
Yeah, nice. I think part of like playing with the radio too is that like because you'll play along to a song and you might not be feeling it at the start, and you're like, it's okay, but I'm just figuring out the chords and whatever. And then it's like halfway through, you're kind of like, this song is actually pretty good, and you're like, I kind of like this, and I think that's how you get introduced to new stuff. Yeah. So I feel like today, with like just like playlists, it's like the temptation to just be like, skip, I don't like this song. Skip, I don't like this song. But it's like, if you can just like sit and it's like, I don't know, I'm not really vibing with this song, but I'm just gonna let it play, and I'm just gonna try and play along with it. Yeah. I feel like you said, like being introduced to new music is kind of how you grow a lot too. It's like, or things that you wouldn't be like, I don't know if I like that, but then it's like, I don't know, I don't like it fully, but there's just like parts that I can at least take from that I can make my own or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
We have probably questions.
We should probably answer questions.
Let's take some questions, guy. It's a Monday. We don't got nothing after this, so let's go. Let's answer these. Let's give our O's to these cues. Go ahead.
So Ritesh said, how to get started on loop pedals.
How to get started on loop pedals. If you want to get started with loop pedals, I would suggest starting out with working on your rhythm. Like if it's just like kind of like making noise on your ukulele, like to come up with a drum beat or playing chords and stuff. But that's the best way to start with with the loop pedal, because you don't want to get too into the into the picking or whatever kind of aspect of it. You just need to be at least adequate at keeping time, because that's going to be the most important thing in using a loop pedal is time. Because if it's not timed correctly, that loop's going to be off. Okay, if the timing is off, the whole loop is off, because it's just going to keep looping that badly timed thing that you did. Okay, so work on that first. So for example, if you're new to it, maybe pick like 2 chords, maybe G and C, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, maybe then the next time around with G, 1 2 3 4, C, 1 2 3 4, beat 1 of G, press the loop until it goes back to the same beat 1 G, then press it again. Okay, so it's like 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, press 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, press 2 3 4. You can go 1 more if you want to, because it's just gonna loop those 2 chords, that I guess 4 chords, but it's the same 2 chords over and over. if you can get that down, that should be like the first, the first thing you should reach for is to like start and end a loop in time. Because for some people, like I have a hard time with that still, like trying to
if you speed up your tempo,
the loop is gonna be all off and stuff. I know like there's some loop pedals that kind of have like built-in whatever, like
quantizing,
quantize and stuff. But for the most part, if you really want to be serious with looping, that's like a skill that you need to work on first. So just coming in and out in time.
Yeah, and. It's a good that's a good tip that you gave where it's like you should play through the progression once before you loop it.
Yeah.
Because if you kind of start cold turkey, usually your tempo will change by the time you get to the
second.
So doing one loop kind of gets you like set in that
do it one time and then hit the start the loop the second time you do it. So play the G and C first and now hit it. So don't just go hit while you start. That's what Kai is saying, right? Yeah. So then, wait until the next go around to start the loop.
Yeah, that's kind of like a very beginner problem that I think a lot of people who jump into loop pedals do. And
I mean, if you're like if you're a friggin' beast at looping, you could do that, I guess. But
But I think it's uncommon for people to
just right off the bat. No, I can't do that.
Because usually if you do that too, you'll hear like a pause between.
That's true. That's true.
Start and stuff too. So I think if you loop, you'll know very quickly like, oh, my timing isn't that great. Like you figure it out pretty quickly.
You'll hear it. But that's that's my suggestion. And then from that, you can even just use that and just start like jamming to it or whatever. But on top of that, just start looking for like chord progressions that you can loop over and see if you can get clean with those chord progressions. And then once you can do a nice clean loop of the chord progression, see if you can add layers to that chord progression loop. Maybe just start with one layer, and it'll be easier because once you have a good loop that is on time, all you gotta do is just press the record button, right? Because it's just gonna keep that good loop that you did in the beginning, but it's just gonna keep recording like on top of it. So and then just start learning about layering after that, and then that's really it, right? Like I'm not like I'm not one of those loopers that are like gonna create a whole symphony or whatever. Like I'm in the school of like, I just need this looper so something is playing in the background while I pick my ukulele. I'm not there to like, I'm gonna add this drum beat, and then I'm gonna go here like Ed Sheeran, I'm gonna play this piano part, and I'm gonna go do this. It's like I don't got time for that. Because for me, I don't know personally, like if somebody's doing a looping thing and they don't start singing, or they don't start the main melody or some kind of main melody picking within 1 minute, I'll give it up to a minute. You know what I mean? Like 30 seconds might be short. I get 1 full minute. If by 1 full minute you don't start singing a song,
or the song doesn't actually start.
If the song doesn't start by 1 minute, that's like I'm gonna go look at my phone. Be like, that's just it. But that's personal. That's a personal choice. You know what I mean? Like some people want to see and hear like somebody like really make a masterpiece on stage and stuff. But that's cool. I'm just not that audience. You know what I mean? Like I might
and there's more tactful ways to do it, right?
1 minute is like pretty generous though if you think about it, because like a loop, like what you just did is like maybe 5 seconds. So if you think of 1 minute, that's
long.
That's looping 20 times, right? So it's like you have 20 times to build upon that. Like how much are you adding at that point?
Yeah, because I mean, I'm not gonna mention names, but I've seen a lot of, say, like local musicians that I'll go to to a bar or to a restaurant and stuff, and I'm like, oh, right on, because it's easy for for musicians to just play by themselves, right? Like learn the looper. Do like a 2-hour gig, but I think it's also on purpose, because if you have a 2-hour gig and it takes you 5 minutes to set up the loop or whatever, that's 5 minutes off your show that you don't gotta play. But if something is playing,
and then you sing for 5 minutes, and then so it's like a 10-minute song.
Exactly. So that's 6 songs for that hour.
You only gotta do 6.
So You know what I mean? Like listening to 6 songs within the hour is not like the best way that I want to sit down and listen to
if you're thinking
somebody.
about the audience.
Yeah. So as an audience member that wants to listen to the music, and instead of just like sitting down, like I'm eating anyway, so whatever, I don't care what he does. And then in that case, like what's the difference between that performer and like in the radio? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if my establishment is gonna have somebody live doing something like, and I'm paying them money to do it, like that better be worth it, you know?
Yeah.
People better be watching it rather than like it being an afterthought. So yeah, that's my advice with looping. Next guy.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I think get really good at setting the loop first, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's easy to build on top of it once you get a good loop set up.
Yeah. What other people do, or is like, they spend a lot of time trying to get that first loop started. Yeah. And that can eat away at like if you're performing, it's like, oh, okay, come on, like get it started. Right?
Yeah. Well, what I see a lot of people do is to just go.
Yeah, and then wait around for the loop to come back and then add something.
But see, what I don't realize is when they do this, right? And they wait until it goes back to beat 1 again. Where everyone is beat 1.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Like if you come in at beat 3, it doesn't matter because this is just dot dot.
Yeah.
It doesn't go dot dot dot. Dot. It just goes dot dot dot. So you can start that loop. I don't know, anywhere. 2 beats anywhere. Like and especially if it's like an 8 beat, and God forbid like a 16 beat, like a 4 measure, because it's gonna be like 4 chords or something that you try to do, and it's like, oh my God, I'm just sitting here waiting for the song to start. You know? But like I said, no offense, and people who do it are really, really, really talented. But as an audience member, it's not something that I want to sit through, you know? Because like that's different. Everybody's got a different taste.
The thing too is that, people think like, oh, I can like set up a bass line and I can set up like my strumming part, I can set up all these different things.
Yeah.
But if you have like a full band, you're not gonna play those same patterns like throughout the whole song, right? They're gonna change it up a little bit to make it sound different. And you can kind of realize like when the pattern goes through so many times, even if you're singing over it or you're changing the melody, it's like that. I've heard this again and again already. Like I can tell already. It's like this is the 15th time.
It's like the people who wait until like it goes back to beat 1 of like the first measure of the loop and stuff, because you can add stuff to like the later parts of the loop. You don't have to wait. And I still think the GOAT and the best one to do it is our friend Kirby Keogh. Like you never even know that he started the loop. He would just start picking on the guitar. You're like, wait a minute, is there 2 guitars going on? It seems so natural. Like
because some of the best loop people who use loop pedals are the ones that you don't realize that they're using
that they're looping, and it's just like, oh, what the. Like, how is he picking? I thought he was strumming, because I guess he would just strum until like until it's ready, until it's time for him to start picking, and that's when he would he would loop it so that he would pick already. He would just go throughout the whole thing, and he would just stop the loop to start strumming again. So it's just him strumming basically. I don't know, but it's really, really, really crazy how natural he makes it sound. But different strokes, different folks. You know what I mean? For me, like that's what I kind of like. I kind of like it as a like a nice little seasoning on top of on top of the playing, and it's not like the whole meal. You know what I mean? It's just nice. Like if he puts it on so that he can add a little picking here and there, and after picking's done, he goes back to just one guitar. Because I don't want to hear a full band and see like one person like not even playing sometimes like because they have the loop set up, they'll just stop playing and then just start singing stuff. I'm like, okay, well maybe just press play next time, like I don't need to see you do the part that you're supposed to do at home. I
think the people who do looping the best, like they also like stop the loop, right? Like for they stop the loop for the verse, and then they might bring it back in the chorus or other parts. Yes. But it's like, I think they also understand that it's like you don't, as an audience member, you don't want to like listen to the loop for the whole song. It's good to bring it in here and there.
Best example of that, Rick, and You Need Me, I Don't Need You, Ed Sheeran. Like, that's like Bible, that's looping Bible. That's that you just watch that, you're like, these are all things that I should and shouldn't do. So next question.
Okay.
You need me now, I don't need you. Love that song.
Because I mean, yeah, if you're the point is to entertain the audience.
Yes.
Like it's
if you're doing something live, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next.
Chudley said, "Has anyone here tried sopranino?"
Sopranino, yes, which is the we don't have one here, but we've had a sopranino. I was carrying one around all of like NAMM 20 whatever, like with Mim, because Mim had one, and I remember like I wanted one, and but the sopranino that I had, I gave it to my nephew.
Oh
yeah, I gave it to my nephew. Darren, so it's in Arizona now. But yeah, I had one. It's fun. But we have ukes even smaller than that. You know, we have
or like for people who don't know what it is, like what.
Oh, it's a size smaller than a soprano. So soprano ukulele is usually the standard size ukulele, which is the smallest. But there are other smaller sizes, being sopranino, sopranissimo. There's a nano uke, and then there's the I uke or the micro uke or whatever. Yeah, you know,
it's about the same size. Though, I think. Yeah.
So there's all those, just different names for it, for the most part.
Yeah.
But
and there's fine. that original Ko Aloha ukulele that was supposed to be a Christmas ornament. That's playable.
It's playable. Yeah, it's playable. That's right. So they're fun. Like what about the sopranino?
That's all they asked.
Oh yeah. I've played one. They're fun. I think they're fun to just kind of they're fun to play around with. They're good like pocket ukulele. Like if you're going to like a hike maybe, and because it's not big, it's not heavy. But I don't know. And it's
only
cool.
thing I think, because I think Ohana makes the sopranissimo.
Yeah.
And that one, the only thing about that one is that you have to tune it up a half step.
Yeah. Oh, is it half or like? I think it's more.
Or
yeah, I think it's more.
More than
by a fifth or something.
Yeah.
I forget. But yeah, it's sopraninos, soprannissimos, nanos, all that. So they're fun. They're fun little like novelty ukuleles. I know some people are gonna be like, no, they're like actual instruments. Like, sure. But you can make anything an actual instrument.
They're fun.
Spoons an actual instrument, but it doesn't making them not fun.
Yeah, and I think Kala made the pocket uke for a little while, and then it got discontinued. But that was basically a sopranino.
I think that's the one. No,
sopranino.
I think Mim was carrying around a Ohana one. But I did play like a pocket uke.
Yeah, I think Kala branded it as a pocket uke, and I think that was tuned up. Either a step or a half step.
It's fun. Those things are fun. Okay, next.
Well, people are kind of talking about like the one on the shelf too.
Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, it's a nano.
That's a nano ukulele. You can play that. That's
made by Andy's Ukes in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then they're all like they're actually playable too.
Yeah.
Because like
when
he said like, is it a shaker then? Or?
No. That's a real
it's a playable
ukulele. Yeah.
And it requires the iuke strings, and that's tuned up like an entire octave.
Does Aquila make those still?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they still. You can order them.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I think I need to restring
it's like
two of them. I have two of my daughter still plays the iuke.
Iuke strings. And it's like it's GCEA, but it's just you tune it an octave above what a soprano would be tuned.
Yeah, I have one of those iukes, two of those iukes. My kid is using one of them, and we use it as a prop for like pictures and stuff.
Oh yeah,
you can actually use them. But my kid also has a soprano, like a purple kala, like I don't know what it is, but it's Mim gave it to me. Speaking of Mim, she gave me my first.
Speaking of
purple. Mim, oh yeah, I'm sure you're representing Mim today.
Yeah.
What's up? Shout out to Mim.
Yeah. Miss you.
Okay. Yeah, miss you.
Been a while.
Miss you. We don't go out much, so.
Apparently, she was just in California or some place.
Oh, for the LA Uke Fest maybe.
No, I don't know. She went on vacation, I think.
So I see.
So she did what we always said that we wanted to do during NAMM, which is like not go to NAMM and just go to like the theme parks instead. Yeah.
Yeah, we should go to NAMM again.
Yeah.
Go to
hang
NAMM.
out with our friends on the teacup ride.
I guess so. I don't know, because like I guess we could just go as consumers and that's Sunday, right?
Yeah.
We just go, like, do you know how much it costs?
I'm not sure.
Just go as for fun.
Go
Like,
to
we don't
NAMM.
even have to make it an ukulele on the ground. I think it would be way more fun, and just do a tour, maybe. You know, like play.
Stop by.
Stop by. Like,
Hang out with some people.
Yeah, that'll be fun. You guys down for that? Is anybody? if it's an outside ukulele on the ground thing, if it's just an Aldrine, Kai, and Aaron thing, would you guys be down for something like that?
We're gonna go to our usual like downtown Disney, like either the Rainforest Cafe or the Jazz Cafe.
Oh, the Jazz Cafe, man. Jambalaya all day, every day, baby.
We gotta get our what is it, like the cups that light up.
Okay, next. Let's take one more, two more.
I don't know what do you think of Flute?
Oh, yeah, I've seen those. I don't know. I'm not like gonna be a hater. You know what I mean? Like, it serves its purpose. I guess it makes it quote unquote easy, even easier, because there's only three strings for kids to learn. But it's basically taking out the re-entrants. You know, like the high G re-entrant is just C, E, A. That makes it more easy for him. So it serves its purpose and stuff, but I don't know.
They are marketed to little kids, right? Or like to parents for their little kids.
To teach and stuff.
Yeah, because I've seen them in like shops for like babies and kids, right?
So they serve their purpose. That's what I should say. Just to be like, like neutral.
I think we saw them at NAMM. One time
when they first came out. They're all right. Like I said, they serve their purpose. If your purpose is to like teach, like a child how to play, an ukulele like instruments with less, because you'd figure like you'd play C with just the one finger instead of like playing F with the two fingers. It's just the one finger like this. Like, it makes sense. Like, I get it, but just. My controversial opinion is just play ukulele. Just play uke. Just get the 4 strings. It's fine. Like, it's not that much easier, that much of a difference, Yeah. Because like after you get your basic whatever, like
it's the same.
It's
pretty much the
same thing.
And then the 4th string actually adds more expressivity, so you can color. You can do a lot more.
Yeah. So my controversial take is that I think adults think that 3 strings are easier than 4 strings, and they're the ones who came up with that. But I think actual kids would care.
Not be.
If you just gave them an ukulele, a kid will just pick it up and then will just try strumming it or try holding it or whatever. You don't have to tell them like, oh, it's hard. You have to do this and this. You're just gonna.
Yeah,
and
kids don't think about.
I think it's coming from like a marketing side, where like ukulele is easy, but like look, it's like 3 strings is even easier. So I think it's more of like a marketing thing, where like I think in the end it doesn't really make that much of a difference, because if you're playing a 3 strings ukulele like instruments to learn the basics, that'll get you through maybe the first, I don't know, if it's for like a little kid, like the first maybe month, 2 months, and if they're really like keeping at it and stuff. But I don't know, like just I mean, how much are those things, Kai? Do you know?
I don't know. I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time, because
that makes sense because like from a marketing perspective, there's no competition.
Right, exactly.
Right, so it's like
we're the only 3 string, and we're like easiest. See how easy it is to to play an ukulele. We're even easier than that. How much is it, Kai? If it's over $100, I'm be like, why? What's the point of this?
I think like they call it a guitar though.
They know what they're doing. They don't want to make They don't want to be mixed in with ukulele. They're trying to.
I don't know.
They do have ukuleles.
And it's like $70. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like that first company that put out Strider bikes.
Oh yeah.
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 It's like, oh, it's easier than a bike
cool.
for kids, and they can learn the balancing, and then but then once you're done, like once you got it, then,
that's it. Does it serve this purpose?
Yeah,
And
it
then
served
you're
this purpose.
Now I want a real bike.
Then you just get a regular bike. Yeah.
Now I want a real ukulele. You know? Because like I'm not bringing this 3-string thing to school. My friends are gonna make fun of me.
Yeah, it's Karen, the person who asked it. It's more the fretting hand for little hands, but ukulele is real instruments after all.
Or I mean, the ukulele is small enough, I think, for little hands.
If you get like a soprano ukulele, like my kid is projected to be like 4'11". Okay? My kid is tiny, and her tiny hands. She's like the tiniest in her kindergarten class. She's doing just fine, like ukulele. But but that's like Aldrine Guerrero's daughter. I was like, no, like I don't sit her down and be like, okay, we're gonna go to Woodshed, Elle, you know? Like I'm gonna lock you in here with these 3 albums.
I tell her that she's special. She's not special.
No, she's just like, okay, like just go play it, I guess, you know? And she's the kind, I mean, I try not to push her so much that she's the one that's like, Dad, please, can we play ukulele now? I'm like, I guess, but I was playing ukulele all day for work. You know? Like, fine. And I'm like, fine, no, all right, let's sit down, let's play, I guess, you know? So
and that's also not saying that like this Loog instrument is not a real instrument. It is. Yeah.
Like I said, it serves its purpose. You know what I mean? Like, but the 4 strings is given that much more color, and it's kind of like it is that without calling it that. It is a ukulele-like instrument without calling it an ukulele. You know, like so. Just go for the ukulele instead. As primarily an ukulele player, I think just go for it.
That's our O.
That's our O. Yeah. See, you don't get A's in the straight O's. My O is to just go get an ukulele. You know.
I think about like I agree with Mike. We've talked to Mike before, and Mike says like get an instrument that fits you, right? Like whether it's like a smaller instrument you feel like or a bigger instrument. And I do agree with that take, but when people say that they can't play their instrument because it's either too big or too small, my controversial thing is that I think most people who say that probably are not holding it right, or like they're holding it in a weird way. Because like
spicy.
I think and when people say like that they're experiencing pain or a chord is causing them a hard time to play and stuff. Yeah, I think they're mostly overlooking either their thumb or their wrist, and they're focusing too much on their fingers.
Or their how they hold it on the right side.
Yeah.
Holding it like this on the right side, and you're strumming like that. You know, like it's you're already like putting your whole body at like a weird angle.
It's like pretty much when people come in and they say like, oh, I'm having a hard time, and you guys said to do this, like, so here's what I'm doing. Like we can kind of tell like pretty quickly like, well, you can kind of adjust this, and it should make it a lot easier for you.
You have no idea how many private lessons like end in like 2-3 minutes just because like, okay, well, this is what I'm having a hard time with. It's like, okay, well, adjust your whatever and hold it like this, and then try. And I'm like, oh, that works. And that's it. I thought we were gonna take all of the 15 minutes to work on this one thing, but like I'm doing it now, so enjoy the rest of your 10 minutes. And I'm like, awesome. We're gonna make some tea.
It kind of goes back to that woodshedding, right? Where it's just like, it's hard, but like a lot of people just keep trying the same thing. So when they pull the chord, they're like, I'm getting the notes out, but my hand hurts. But it should just be because like my hand is just hurting because I haven't played long enough or something. It's like, no, like it might just be that your hand is not positioned right. So it should never be like that.
How much is that Loog? Like that Loog, the 3-string one?
Like, I'm looking for it.
You don't know? Well, how much are their ukuleles?
Their ukuleles are $67, I think.
Okay, yeah, you can just get like a Makala for that, or like a cheap, like a cheap Kala ukulele or whatever it may be. If you're gonna go the toy looking route anyway, because it's not like like Mike said, get yourself an ukulele that like will what?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because
how much is it?
It's $80.
What?
It's like more.
What? So yeah, you know what I mean, and it's they're gonna play it for I don't know, like at most maybe like a year, if that, you know.
Yeah.
But
people still buy Strider bikes, so.
I guess so. I guess so.
yeah. That doesn't stop people from buying them.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. Well, I'll do one more, Kai. Let's just make it to a cool 1.5 hours.
I don't know if we had more questions. I think that was
Something else?
pretty much it.
Okay, I thought I saw more question marks. I can't. Yeah, I can't tell.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Nothing else. Okay. You know what? This weekend, surprise drop, right, Kai?
Mm-hmm.
He dropped a surprise. The comeback of the UU Plus solos. We came back pretty hard, right? With a little bit of One Piece. It's very topical, you know. It's been what, a month, 2 months since the live action release of Netflix of One Piece, and us as being. I say us now because you are now Nakama, you know, recent Nakama guy.
Yeah.
Like being big fans of One Piece, it was really fun to do Brink's Brew or Brink's Sake or Binksu or what? Sake.
Yeah.
So, yeah, love that song. Very piratey, you know. So if you're feeling piratey, that's a really cool song for you to check out, for you to learn. It's over on for all of you UU Plus subscribers. It's over there. You can get like the tabs and the stuff, right? Like for UU Plus, like Kai. For non-UU Plus members, you can just watch it and see if you can learn from the play along. So that's available there.
The preview is available.
Yeah,
or
preview. Not the play along.
Yeah,
Preview.
There's play alongs available for UU Plus members,
Yes.
and then there's like multiple angles for the play alongs.
Yeah. So if you guys want to learn some solos, UU Plus it is. So check that out and learn a thing or two.
Yeah. There's
somebody's asking, what is NAF?
Yeah, that's why I didn't ask this question.
What is NAF? Chris, what is NAF?
Native American flute.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Woodshed on the. I did already. That's how I learned how to play it. I gotta bring it so like I can prove that I can play it. I play it all the time, honestly. Like it's kind of fun. Like the flute is super fun. So, I've already done that because I went to my woodshed, which is where you guys see me doing the private lessons. That's my new woodshed, and figured it out, learned it. Like I just had to learn a scale. So as soon as I figured out how to do a scale, you basically learned it, you know, like because off of that scale you can play whatever song. So,
is it basically just one octave?
Yeah, so it's a little bit tough because I don't know how to go below like 1.
Yeah.
Know? And there's like 1 and 8, but of course there's like the chromatics in between there and stuff. But it's tough if your song goes above like an octave or below that octave. Yeah. But it's fun. It's it's a good time. It's a good time. That makes me want to pick up my clavinova again and relearn the clavinova. All right. Any other questions?
I think that's it.
Yeah. All good. So One Piece, brand new ukulele solo song. So make sure you check that out. Brink's Brew. We have Changes in Latitudes. The train is going, everybody. The videos are back. So watch them. Don't make us take them away again, right? Right? Watch them, or else they're gone again. Like the next time they're gone, you're like, oh, what happened? It's because nobody watched them. So go watch them, so that we make more of them. Okay? So that's because I believe there's one for next month. But if that one doesn't get as much, they're like, why are we doing these? Damn. Whoa, just got real for a second. Okay? Check them out. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. Your grandma probably knows the song, Changes in Latitudes. Big Sake probably knows it, right? She's a secret One Piece fan. She is a Nakama. She's a big fan of Mr. Two. Right, Kai? Are you a big fan of Mr. Two?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, right? Mr. Two, the best. He's the best, Mr. Two. And Senor Pink, he's also the best. Who's your favorite character in One Piece, Kai?
For real?
Yeah, who's your favorite character in One Piece?
I just like Chopper.
Like Chopper. Chopper's like, okay, all right.
Chopper.
Yeah, Zoro for me.
Okay.
But It's like it's such a vanilla answer, you know.
I feel like any of
reuse my favorite character from Street Fighter. That's kind of like saying that, you know.
Yamato. You know? Yeah.
All right, we'll see you folks next time. Have a great one. We'll see you on Friday for Aloha Friday Live Jam. And what else is coming up? That's basically it. We have some videos you guys can check out. If you guys want to buy an ukulele, of course, you guys can always go to shop.ukuleleontheground.com. Boom goes the dynamite. Shop.ukuleleontheground.com. Buy an ukulele, buy some lessons. We uploaded, I should say they uploaded. I don't say, why am I saying we? I didn't do any of that, but they just uploaded the Solo Secrets Revealed. So if you guys want to learn how to improvise on the ukulele, Solo Secrets Revealed is the video to watch. What other videos are on there now?
Essential chords.
Essential chords course, yeah. So if you want to learn your essential chords, so you can basically go to your next ukulele club meeting and just walk in there like a boss, basically, right? Like if you did Essential Chords course 1 and 2, you can walk in like a boss to any ukulele club meeting and be like, I know these chords. Don't even get me started how much chords I know. Essential Chords course. Okay? that's how I'm gonna sell it. Go walk in that ukulele club meeting like a boss. and yeah, Solo Secrets Revealed. We have Islander ukuleles. We have Kanilea ukuleles. Make sure you check them out. Have a great one. This has been too long already, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Aloha.